Yo, what's going on, y'all? Man, so today's like one of those days, like you hear so often where being an entrepreneur isn't as fun as you hope so. So if you're an entrepreneur, hey, you're gonna want to stick around for this because you're probably going through something that I'm going through right now. So as an entrepreneur, like you want to be optimistic, you want to think long term, and then you start to like look at like your bank account. You're like, oh, all right, how are we gonna do this? So you seek opportunities, and you're trying to find out how you're gonna fund your business, how you're gonna get a startup, right? And you go and you talk to people, and you go and try to find funding, and it's hard. Like I've been in like meetings where they were just better just left unsaid. Um, and then I've also put myself in very deep debt and then had to build my way back out of it. So like it's always possible to keep going. And like today was like one of those days where like getting going to a 9 to 5 and like going to a 9 to 5 and getting a weekly check starts to seem a lot more cool. Like being an entrepreneur is cool until you don't get a weekly check no more. Until you start to see your funds go down instead of going up. Because everything's like it's all like you don't make money right away as an entrepreneur, and it's not talked about enough. So yeah, in this video, like one day I want to show my son like how hard this really was. It really goes into like the long nights. It's like it would. I would say it's hard to love something like this much. It's hard. Like it's definitely hard. Where you wake up day and night and you study it and you study it and you study it. Where you it's like you love it so much because of what you want to do with your passion. And I think that's where it gets lost. Like giving back to your community is like something very deep to me, but the customer. I'm when I worked in the trades and when I worked in manufacturing and everything, like I learned a lot about like Lean Six Sigma and like sustainability. And then I looked at like, why are we ripping people off? But through like the research and the data I've gathered, it's people don't do enough to get their like the owners just the small business owners. The reason you're losing, to be honest, the reason you're losing is because you don't do enough for your customers. You don't like find the rebates, find the discounts, find the incentives, find the tax write-offs. Really master your craft. And that's what I'm passionate about. Like these are the things like I feel people don't look into when they go into business. Like you don't everybody wants to save money. Like and I hate when I hear people say like, oh, tax the rich, right? Like that's not cool either. I don't believe that's even the option. Like I believe everyone, no matter where you live, you should be charged the price you should be charged. And I saw that in the trades, and I didn't like that. And when I looked at giving back to the customer experience, what I can offer, it gave me a passion that drove me for years. So today was just one of them days where I just wanted to give up. I just kind of just want to go get a job because my bank account goes lower and lower, and like no one ever sees that, so no one ever sees the struggle. So then like you have this big passion of wanting to save the customer money, right? Like you have a passion about wanting to build your community, wanting to give back. Like in order to do that, like you have to make money. Like your business has to make money. Andrew, me personally, I don't care about money, but like, my business has to make money so I can give back to the community. And like education wise too, to give back to educational programs, it's important. We have to give back. Like our youth are very important. Like technology programs, very important. Like that's very important. Solar energy is very important for the community, and I feel like there's not enough knowledge, not enough education's there. Trust me, it being cold in Wisconsin has no impact on your solar panels other than the cloudy days that we get. Like that's the biggest downfall of it all is that we get a little bit more cloudier days than other places. But regardless, like it being colder is actually better for the solar panels. Radiation off that sun, that's what's getting that electricity for you, that radiation, not the heat. No, not the heat that you feel the warmth on your skin. That's not it. It's the radiation actually that's coming from the sun. And that's actually how you feel all that. But that's actually where we're pulling from. So that's what your solar panels are grabbing. That and turning that into DC, which goes to your inverter, which turns into AC, which is what goes in your power supply. From there, you can do like metering, and you can actually sell your energy back to the government or to your neighbors or give it to your neighbors. People are just very knowledgeable about the fact that you could save $10,000 actually in 20 years. Even after all the cost savings and what you initially pay, you'll still save $10,000 in 20 years. Like, I don't know. That sounds like a better idea to me. But yeah, so it's really just always finding a better way to do things. And even though you have these visions, it's like it always costs money. Like, it does cost money. All the education, all the certifications. You start to look for partners, and you don't ever want to be desperate. Like, don't ever be desperate. Always come with a plan. Like, having a business plan is important. Like, I stress customer acquisition. I stress like operation costs. Like, really know your costs, because you want to know your numbers when you walk into these meetings. And I've walked into these meetings and I didn't have these numbers. Like, Andrew did not have these numbers, and I got walked right back out of them. So yeah, you say experiences. Like, yeah, imagine that. And you thought you were ready. Nah. Sometimes all the data you wasted your time gathering was not the right data. But you learn that, and those are hard lessons. And I hope that I can teach somebody that. Like, some of the data you may think you need is not really what you need. So it's very important that I think people know that. I also think it's important to be real with yourself, and not give in. Like, be real with yourself about what you want, but don't give in, even if there's an easier path of resistance. Like, right now, I have an opportunity to go to this solar panel class, and it costs like $2,000 hands on, get my national certification. Yes, it's a risk, right? Like, who the hell can go to Georgia and go to this class when you have a family? Like, when your bank account is going to be $2,000 less. Like, who the hell? I don't know anybody that's like in my, like, from where I'm from. Like, that's hard to vision something, and then you envision something that's like so big that not everyone else can see it. They don't see the benefit of it, so it's hard because you're like, man, you see it and they don't, and it's because you want to do something different. You want to give your community something that's not there yet. And I've done enough research personally. Like, I have spent the days of hours of reading 200 plus papers, documents after documents after documents to know what we did wrong in racing. I have a pretty good wraparound in my notes, my old school notes of how I write everything down. Still, it's there. So I spend that time, and I spend that time doing that because I care so much about my customers. That's Andrew. Like, that's my passion. Like, it's not about the whole service, because the service is quality. Like, know that. Like, that's me. Like, quality, that's everything. Like, I got the certifications, I got the knowledge, I got the skills. I went and got the education because I wanted my customers to guarantee that it was going to be done the right way. Some people say the certification stuff don't matter. I think that's a lie. I think that certifications and knowledge is key to success, and I don't have to debate it. I don't have to debate it with anybody. It's proven. It's proven by all the billionaires and millionaires who are successful. They all say it. Habits, knowledge, stay in the libraries, keep reading, and I've paid attention to that very closely for the last 6-7 years of just really reading books. And so sometimes I'm too smart for my own good, I guess, because yeah, when you're too smart for your own good, you make a lot of assumptions, and that's definitely something I've been working on. One of my weaknesses. Still working on it though, but hey, it's whatever. Andrew will understand, sure, but Aiden will understand too. But really, if you're an entrepreneur and like you're going through hard times, like keep going, like trust me, like I get it. Like I personally, me too, I've been there. Like when you don't really know what the next thing, right? Like the more you lose your funding, you start getting more scared. You get more scared. You get more scared. Like I've been past that. Like imagine going negative and you're still more scared, and you just dig yourself back out and you go through the next path. But I've also went a lot of paths of least, least resistance, and hold on. And what I learned is when you go down these paths of like least resistance, everything's easy. So like some people told me like I wasn't a very smart guy for quitting a 6-digit job. But the thing is, like, when you care about the people and you voice your opinion, you have to step away from things even when the monetary compensation doesn't make sense for you to walk away. Like sometimes things that you do doesn't isn't gonna make sense for everybody else. And it's because it's deeper than what you can't see. I walk away from things because I don't let money determine me. Like money doesn't matter to Andrew at all because I know what it means to have nothing. But or come from so little, right? I won't say nothing because that wouldn't be true either. But I also understand what it means to go without. So I'll say that. And as an entrepreneur, like understand that some people they're made, and some people like this is kind of given to them. Entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs given to them. But if you're made, like understand that you're gonna go through very deep difficulties and finding resources. Like I highly recommend like anybody that you can meet, anybody that you can connect with. Like I'm constantly trying to connect with people because resources are key. Like networking is powerful. Networking is very powerful. Like when I get the opportunity to go to those Gary V conferences and be able to shake his hand and just to say, I'll tell him thank you. Like I know he's not a man of he cares because he doesn't care about those type of things. But for me, it wasn't like it's not like that. It's more of a you helped me during a dark time when I had nobody. So I don't even think sometimes they realize that. Like when you are struggling to really find hope in yourself and you have to turn to social media or YouTube to find inspiration in certain people that don't see themselves as motivational people. But when you find like Eric Thomas, like he's been touching me since I was in the military. And I was, yeah, that guy. When he came, I heard we went to Marquette. I was kind of bummed. I was in Florida and I didn't get to see him. But he told me a lot. When you really want something more than you want to breathe, like that's how you be successful. Like you gotta be willing to give up sleep for this shit. And on average, I get maybe 5 hours right now. Who knows where I'll be when I show Andrew this video someday on YouTube because it'll be on the internet forever. But the thing is like documenting the journey, showing anybody that's willing to watch this, like it's possible. Just like every day, just keep going. Like understand like everyone's been through that journey. Like Gary V, Soviet Union and his family. You have Tony Robbins sleeping in vehicles. Eric Thomas homeless, sleeping in trash can, in dumpster cans and like outside. Man, there's so many people who've done it more, like there's some people who've had it rough. And even though you've had it rough, just understand no one gives a fuck about your story. As fucked up as that sounds, no one cares. So at the end of the day, business is business. So always strive forward to be the best in what you do. That's what I would say. Like, if you can't be the best at what you do, like, be more specific at what you do and conquer it. So that means like being specific to you. Like, if you're good at sales, be good at sales. If you're good at marketing, be good at marketing. But if you're not good at those, like, keep educating yourself. Success never stops. That's what I'm really learning through all of this. Like, staying ahead. Part of my other stuff that I talk about is like blockchain and crypto investing, and like those things are important. Like understand, like always stay ahead with the wealthy. I fascinated over that. Like really understand the wealthy and how they move. Why do they move a certain way? When I work, one of my really good stories, like I never share with anybody, so this is gonna be really good to watch someday. I never like when I worked at the Racing Country Club for 4 years. I got to get into some very interesting conversations. As a young kid, 15 years old, you don't really understand wealth. You really don't understand money. You don't really understand how it moves. It goes to the store, you spend it. Well, I got to go to these meetings and be obviously a buster, but I got to listen to how the wealthy were making their money move. So I would sit and I would listen. And when you pay attention to people that are smarter than you, when you pay attention to people that make more money than you start to learn a lot. So when people that don't make as much money or aren't don't read as many books or you notice aren't just as smart as you, then it is hard to take advice from them. So, but at the same time, like everybody brings something valuable to a conversation. There's just some things you don't take, some things it's one ear out the other, but still understand the value of the whole conversation. But but I also still like I will stay like just always tune out the negativity. That is something I think is very important. Always tune out the negativity. Um, and that's why, like, even the negativity of me, like, right, like I told you, I have to go pay $2,000 for this class. Like, that sucks. Like, there's no check coming after that. Like, that's me spending $2,000 to go get a national certification all the way in Georgia, and it's like, damn, like I can't like let that stop me because like right now I have an offer and I can go to Florida and get a better job, right? A better job, work for somebody else. Good guys though, so like I'll make good money, but that's not gonna work. That's not where my passion is. So it's like give up that money, put my family at risk. Like being an entrepreneur is all about risk. Risk is scary, very scary. Everyday fear. Fear is like very strong. I yeah, like fear is something I'm scared of all the time. Fear is what actually as crazy was fear is what made me start praying again. Like fear is what made me get down and say like, dude, you need to think through everything, but don't be scared. Don't mix fear with scariness because fear is what you gotta love fear too though. Like understand like fear is fear, but you gotta love it. Like you gotta love like wanting to go after it. Like when I tell people the stuff that I want to build, like yeah, these are all opportunities that were presented that anybody's doing right now. Like what I want to do in my city is nothing that it's not out there. It's just something that I see as a benefit to the customer. So and somebody needs to do it. Like that's it. Like I saw like in previous programs, like like we wanted to bring in like these outside resources, these big corporations to come do something in our community. Like that doesn't work in racing. I'm sorry, that doesn't work in the racing. And even then, like it's not gonna work with even the wealthy. Like that that's like my biggest thing is like you got to be able to come from the city. Like you got to understand how to move in certain markets here. Like that's why bringing in big corporations, like that's why your programs failed. Like I'm sorry, some people don't like the truth, but that's what your reports are telling me. So my data's telling me. So ownership and bringing in corporations that aren't from Racine, like they can't move in certain markets. They don't have those networks. They don't have those resources to bring in the right people. You can't do that and sell a program to people that doesn't make any sense, no value. Like give more incentives, make it cheaper. You don't have to charge anybody these $20,000 fees. No, we can you can get solar panels. We can get that installed for 10 to 15 actually. And if we really can push it, maybe we can get a little bit cheaper. But we can definitely get them out there, but it isn't free. Solar panels, they cost money, but you're also going to save over 20 years, at least $10,000. However you want to look at that. And guess what? If you're able to produce more energy than you use, you sell it back to the utility companies, and you make some money back on your pockets. Generate some ROI, return on investment. And guess what else raises your property value? So like, how cool is that? Property value goes up. Guess what? If you need a new roof, we throw a package deal in. You do it with all one company. You don't got to call two companies. You call one company that does it at the same time. You get solar panels and roofs. And I can get you HVAC. Yes, yes, we work with HVAC too. So it's amazing what you can do in the trades, and like when you really create these great partnerships with different people, everybody everybody gets paid. So everyone always gets paid. Everyone gets what they want. The thing is like living on your terms. Like when you're an entrepreneur, like watch this and live on your terms. Like understand when people tell you that. Like don't be scared to live on your terms. That's why like again, like going to Georgia, like I'm gonna do that. Like yeah, it's scary as shit, but I have to do it. I can't let this stop me. Yes, draining all my money, right? Like just keep going more towards zero. So you learn how to try to make that more money through the journey. Like as crazy as it sounds, you try to create more opportunities off the money before it can't invest anymore, right? Like I hold some certain possessions and NFTs that are gonna pay off if something happens. Like if I need to make a quick sale, I can turn a profit. Like why? Because I paid attention. I paid attention before it became cool. Pay attention before things are cool. Like Gary Vee, I think teaches that one the best. Mark Cuban's definitely hot, and then you have Elon Musk. Like Elon Musk, honestly, definitely one of my idols. Yeah, Robert from Shark Tank, definitely a guy I can relate with. Yeah, that guy's a very smart man. He's definitely been through something. I relate to him. Oh yeah, Mark Cuban, guy who took a lot of risks too. Um, Kevin O'Leary, a lot of risks from Kevin O'Leary. Um, his mom was a smart lady though. Then you have, man, Gary Vee. Yeah, his family went through a lot. So if you don't know who those guys are, definitely look into it. Eric Thomas, father wasn't around. I get it. Eric Thomas definitely can relate to him on the growing up in in lower income neighborhoods. That's something that I touch deep with him with. Um, yeah, but I also like what they say, right? Like you sometimes like you just gotta do things differently. You just gotta keep pushing. So at the end of the day, like don't let nothing stop y'all. Like right now, like hey, today was that day where like I wanted to give up, y'all. Like I did want to give up. It was, of course, like I shed tears, right? Like it's hard. It's freaking hard. Every day you have to stay motivated. Like the first like month, like you can be motivated your first month, but when you do this like consistently, like I've had this is my fourth business, right? But my first three were my good learning experiences. Like I don't think you can learn everything in one business. It took me three, but hey, like we all have different ways that we're like raised and like we go through different barriers and opportunities. So like I just take every opportunity that's thrown my way. Like you throw me an opportunity and if it sells, it sells. But if it's not a good opportunity where it's like no good benefit to me, like I don't get into things that I just want to not do. Like I don't get into things that people think are cool. Like I think that's cool, but I don't get into it for that. Like I get into things when I see value in it. Like I try to build people around me that I see quality. Nothing for me if everyone is with money. So I hate when everyone brings it up to me, even though I talk about it at times, because obviously money does money makes things happen, at the end of the day. But it's never really that to me because I feel like everyone always gets paid. And my biggest thing is the quality. I don't really ever care what people want to get paid. I always feel like it's more of a what kind of quality work are you doing? Like what quality do you possess that I find valuable for what it is that my mission, my vision. So that's what I look for in everybody. I think quality is something that is worth everything. I also I don't think that education really matters. Like education matters on certain levels, but I think it's more of knowledge. Like knowledge, like education is like going to school. Like you learn stuff when you go to college, but some of those things, like you kind of waste your time in a lot of different things. Like some of them classes, I don't know, man. Like theology, You guys got my ass on that class, theology. But it is what it is, right? Like you had to take those classes, but I still feel like we should spend more time in technology. I think we should spend more technology in business. I think more people need to understand what business is. But I also think that people should understand what business is because when I ask people their business plans and their long-term visions and what are their goals, and I'm not even perfect at it, but when I hear others, I'm just like, ooh, like I'm good. I'm not as good as I could be, but I'm definitely not as bad as others. So, so I don't want to be an asshole like that, but it's just like you see these things and you want to help people. Like I want to help everybody in their businesses. I want to help everybody be successful. I want to help everyone be them, but I also have to be me. And like quality is always going to be on my team. Like quality is what I look for in everything. Quality is what I like. I know I want. Quality is what I interview for. Quality is everything. Quality is what matters for my customer. And at the end of the day, like, my customer, that's it. Like, that's what you get when you get with Andrew. Like customer experience, customer satisfaction, like the customer experience. It's because like I get it. Like I lead with that empathy, so I get it. Everyone has to get paid, but you don't have to pay more than you should to get the services that you're looking for. But I also think like if you want to be cheap and you want to get over on people, because I have dealt with investors in different industries, like I also think there's a way to not be that way. So you you have to know how to draw that line. Like quality matters, but this isn't charity work. Um, so so yeah, like, but at the end of the day, like, hey, keep going. Like that's what I wanted to share this video for, is to keep going, keep driving, don't give up. Like I applaud everybody that's going through this journey because I know it's hard, I know it sucks. So good luck, everybody. Have a great night. And if you need anything, hey, let me know. And yeah, I guess I talked a lot longer than I was expecting, but it's a lot to say. It's a lot to get out. You have a lot going through your mind. A lot. But stay safe, everyone. Bye.